Hi, I'm Art Eckstein, and Films of the Reagan Era is the fourth course I've taught for Ollie. As in the other courses I've done, my emphasis in the Reagan Era 6 films is on film as shared fantasy and social myth. We'll be looking at movies that explicitly articulated ideas that the American community perhaps only felt, films that emanated from the nation's dream life in the age of President Ronald Reagan. These films in themselves then return to help shape the nation's dream life. The films I've chosen are all well made and entertaining, but they're also revealing of the society that created them. They exist as collective cultural fantasies. Ronald Reagan was a hugely successful politician, of course. He was elected governor of California twice and president of the United States twice, 1980, 1984. But he was also more. Reagan saw himself as the agent of cultural counter-revolution against the 1960s. Reagan's nostalgia evoked a past period of American dominance and American stability. His view was 1950s normality, 1960s deviance and trauma, 1970s hangover and weakness, 1980s return to health and glory. This was a narrative aimed especially at a white male audience, I think, but it was also an increasingly successful narrative in general. When candidate Reagan, in August 1980, called the Vietnam War, quote, a noble cause, there was a firestorm from the elite press. When President Reagan repeated that same claim in August 1988, there was almost no public dissent. Reagan's attacks on the Cultural Revolution of the 60s included calls for traditional law and order, traditional patriotism, the threat of communism both internationally and internally, capitalism as the great engine of human progress and happiness, and freedom from regulation, the conservative agenda. And yet, when Mikhail Gorbachev emerged as a revolutionary liberal reformer in the Soviet Union, Reagan welcomed him heartily and did much to end the Cold War. Our films reflect the culture war that emerged when Reagan dominated American politics. It's not that Hollywood in the 80s didn't produce occasional left-wing or countercultural movies, as it had long been doing. It's that these films were financial disasters. The mass audience of the 80s, perhaps in reaction to what Jimmy Carter called the malaise of the 70s, favored Reaganism. The two most popular television shows of the 1980s were Family Ties, with its teenage Reagan-worshiping hero who made fun of his hippie parents, and The Cosby Show, with its happy view of race relations in America. Ronald Reagan actually offered to appear on Family Ties. Nancy and Ronald Reagan were, of course, themselves products of Hollywood careers, and inveterate film watchers on the weekends. Movies were their business. Our list includes 3 of their favorites: Dirty Harry, Red Dawn, and Ghostbusters. The course has 6 sessions. It meets once a week on Mondays at 10:30 for 90 minutes. It's one session for each film. In the first half of each session, I'll lecture on the movie and its cultural and political context. In the second half, we'll open up the session for questions and comments from the participants. If you haven't seen these movies recently, participants in the course should see each film during the week before the lecture discussion session. The films are all easily available online, either free or for a small rental fee. So here is the schedule of the films. Week 1, September 16th, Dirty Harry, Law and Order. Week 2, The Right Stuff, Traditional Patriotism. Week 3, Red Dawn, The Threat of Communist Invasion in 1984. Week 4, Ghostbusters. Yes, it's a silly comedy, but it's also a fervent statement in favor of free enterprise and against government regulation. Week 5, Wall Street, an angry reaction to Reaganism, anti-capitalist. Week 6, The Hunt for Red October, suddenly American triumphalism in the Cold War. Again, all these films, no matter how disturbing some of us may find their ideology, are well made, well acted, and entertaining. It should be fun and illuminating. Looking forward to seeing you there.